The Phantom's costume party. Lucas loved Halloween. Every year, he looked forward to dressing up and going trick-or-treating with his friends. But this Halloween was different. He had received a mysterious invitation in his mailbox. The card was old and slightly torn, decorated with swirling patterns and a silver seal that glimmered in the moonlight. It read, "You are invited to the Phantom's costume party at the Midnight Mansion. Come alone and wear your best costume. The prize for the bravest guest awaits." Lucas felt a shiver of excitement. He had never heard of the Midnight Mansion before, but the promise of a prize was too tempting to resist. He put on his pirate costume, complete with a hat, eye patch, and toy sword, and set out as the clock struck 8. When he reached the mansion, it looked even spookier than he had imagined. The old house stood tall, with darkened windows and tangled vines crawling up its walls. A cold wind howled through the night, and Lucas hesitated for a moment. But then he took a deep breath, pushed the creaky gate open, and walked up the long pathway. Inside, the mansion was filled with guests, ghostly figures floating above the ground, mummies shuffling slowly, and vampires gliding across the floor. Everyone was dressed in their best Halloween costumes, and Lucas felt a thrill of excitement. This was no ordinary party. The music was eerie, and the chandeliers cast long, flickering shadows across the grand ballroom. As Lucas wandered among the guests, he noticed that no one spoke. The guests seemed to drift silently, their eyes following him as he moved through the room. He felt a shiver run down his spine, but reminded himself that he was brave. After all, he was a pirate. Just then, a tall figure appeared before him. It was dressed in a black cloak, its face hidden behind a mask that resembled a skull. The Phantom, Lucas realized, feeling his heart race. The Phantom extended a bony hand, and in its palm lay a silver key. To win the prize, you must find the treasure hidden in the mansion's deepest room. The key will guide you. But beware, time is running out, and the doors will close at midnight. Lucas nodded, determined. He took the key and began his search, making his way down long hallways lined with portraits of grim-faced figures and past doors that creaked eerily as he passed. The deeper he went into the mansion, the colder it became, and the air filled with soft whispers that seemed to echo through the walls. Finally, he reached a door marked with a silver skull. He hesitated, gripping the key tightly, then unlocked it. The door swung open to reveal a staircase leading down into darkness. Lucas took a deep breath and descended, the steps creaking beneath his feet. At the bottom of the stairs, he entered a room lit by dim, flickering candles. In the center stood a treasure chest, its lid open just a crack. Lucas felt his excitement rise as he approached, but as he reached for the chest, the whispers around him grew louder, and shadows stretched across the walls. Suddenly, the lid slammed shut, and the room began to shake. Lucas stumbled back, holding the key tightly as the shadows swirled around him. The Phantom's voice echoed through the room. "Only the bravest can claim the prize. Show no fear, and the treasure is yours." Lucas steadied himself, standing tall. "I'm not afraid," he shouted, and he placed the key into the lock on the chest. The room fell silent. Slowly, the lid of the chest opened, revealing a glowing silver medallion inside. As Lucas picked it up, the whispers faded, and the room filled with a warm, golden light. He had won. The Phantom appeared again, its mask smiling. "You have proven your bravery, young pirate. The treasure is yours. But remember, the Midnight Mansion only opens its doors to the courageous." Lucas smiled, feeling proud. The Phantom gestured for him to follow, and Lucas found himself back in the grand ballroom, the guests nodding in approval as he passed. When he reached the front door, he turned to thank the Phantom, but the mansion and its guests vanished before his eyes. He stood alone on the quiet street, the medallion glowing softly in his hand. Lucas walked home, knowing he had faced the Phantom's challenge and won. He smiled, excited to tell his friends about the greatest Halloween adventure of his life, a story he knew they would never forget.